Hi everyone, I'm Howard Klerer from Harkel Furniture, Deborah Bachly from Global.
And we're here today to take you through our healthcare showroom. I would like to start with is the way that we have built the showroom and what the message is that we're trying to portray through the various vignettes that you're going to see. With healthcare, what is most important to recognize is that the space is for people, and we are dealing with some beautiful buildings. We're dealing with some spaces that are being refurbished. They're not actually new, but what's really important to understand is we are in the business of connecting people, spaces, and care. And the link that we bring to that is you have great spaces, the people who are caring for the people in those spaces, and Global is the furniture solution that must create the communication that says you're welcome, that says we want you here, and sets the mood for the entire area that we're dealing with. So it's really important to understand that this is all about connecting people, spaces, and care.
So Deborah, this is a beautiful, what seems like a waiting space. Maybe you can give us a little more on how you created this and your thoughts behind it.
Okay, so when we talk about healthcare, whether it be acute care, hospital-centric, or it be long-term care, or even clinics, what we have to remember is trying to connect the space to the people and making sure that the furniture communicates the message that we're trying to communicate. And one of the things that's really important for us is to understand that people are always afraid of not being seen. In healthcare, it's a really big issue. People want to be seen, they want to be recognized, they want their needs to be met. So even in the selection of the artwork, you will see that in the artwork there are faces. It's trying to connect the people so as they're sitting in the space, they recognize, and it makes them feel welcome, but it makes them feel a part of their environment. We have furniture that can communicate comfort, and in this particular area we have furniture that is meant for people to sit on for a period of time while they're waiting to be serviced by the doctor or the caregivers in general. It's just really a nice quiet space, and the fabric selection makes it a peaceful and welcoming area for people to come together while they're waiting to be serviced.
And the colors you chose, just it makes it feel so warm and welcome as opposed to a sterile, cold hospital environment, and it's just beautiful.
Well, and I think that's the message. In healthcare, everybody's so tired of seeing that institutional look, and so they see sometimes furniture solutions as being separated, and they're looking for more home-like, more spa-like, more high-end hotel solutions. But what's really critical is if they go that way and don't also make sure that it's robust and properly made healthcare furniture, then it's not going to survive. It can look pretty, but it won't be looking pretty very long. So we are really good at looking at all of the materiality, including the textile, to make sure that our recommendations are something that they can live with long term. Because the first thing that's going to fail is fabric, and just to put any old fabric on doesn't work, just to make it pretty. So it's really about going into the layers and helping our clients understand what the best decisions are. We don't believe for a minute that anybody gets up in the morning and says, oh, I want to make a bad decision today. Bad decisions are made because people don't educate others on how to make better decisions. And that is something that Harkel and Global are very vested in, is making sure that when you're making those decisions, you have all the valuable information you need to make better decisions. And only then can we make sure that we're doing the right thing.
Let's move on to other areas. Deborah, you mentioned about hospitals and institutions now, and space is a premium. This room is unbelievable. How you guys took this space and turned it into multi-purpose. If you could explain more.
Sure. Okay, so we are in a meeting room space. Prior to us having this set up, we had a conference table and we had 8 chairs. we had a servery, and we did have a screen. One of the things that we've encountered with many of our clients is that they have a lot of meeting rooms planned in their space. Many of the plans show that the meeting rooms will hold 20 people, sometimes more. And when we actually put in to-scale furniture, they may have 8 people that can sit at a table. One of the jobs that we did recently, that was exactly the case, and it was almost every single meeting room, which really became a problem. The other issue is you don't have a lot of space. When you have space, you need to use it all. So if you have a room that's dedicated for meetings, you're really losing a lot of other opportunities. So what we did with this space was we have recreated, and we took out the table. We've got a D-shaped top. We could also have our flip-top training tables here. We have the screen on the wall, and as you can see, we have a number of chairs sitting around the table. If we needed to add more seating, we can bring in some benching or stacking chairs along the back wall or on the front wall. And if you have a situation where you have visiting doctors, we could take one of these chairs away. You may have social workers coming to counsel people. Well, take a chair away and now you have a consultation alliance. We could put storage at the end of the table so anybody visiting could have a secure area to leave their belongings. And if you take it one more step, if I need to meet with Howard and his family because there's bad news to deliver, I can just pull this chair over and now we have a casual setting. So if you think about the number of ways we've now made this one meeting room into several applications. If we had our training tables here, we could flip the tops, we could turn them, we could set them up like a classroom. So this room now becomes a very purposeful room, and it can serve many things, including if they need it for activities. They could set up the table so that, they have a trainer at the front of the room. And that is really what we're trying to do with our clients, is help them find better ways to use the spaces they have, because the needs are multiple and they're always changing.
I love the idea of the multiple space, but what I really love about this product is it's commercial grade, but looks residential.
Yes.
So like you said, if we are delivering bad news, or there is consultations, or even good news, it doesn't feel like a corporate stuffy meeting room.
Exactly.
And yet this product is healthcare rated and commercial rated. It's fantastic.
Well, it was purpose-built, and it was purpose-built through our many focus groups. So the Collingwood is this chair. It has cleanouts. You have options on wood legs, self-skin urethane legs. So even the materiality of our products can be changed depending on the application. So we welcome everyone to come and try out these solutions that we've created.
Deborah, this is one of my favorite places at the show. And the reason I like it is, first of all, you'll explain the product, but this product is unbelievable, what it does and its purpose. But the fabrics, the finishes, the colors, the feel, I can't believe that this is possible.
Yes, it is. And this particular product I'm very proud of. It is called the PrimaCare. It is one of the healthcare premier products. And the reason that it is so intelligent is we worked with our clients to develop this product. We were given a task, and the task was help us eliminate the furniture graveyard. And so when we started to have a look at the various furniture graveyards throughout various hospitals and senior care facilities, what we realized was the furniture graveyard is where furniture goes to get fixed, but never does. And the furniture graveyard gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then one day somebody loses their cool and says, get rid of all this stuff. And it goes to the landfill. So as a healthcare client, we also recognize that they're very concerned about the environment. They're very concerned about things going to the landfill. And the fact is, if it doesn't get fixed and goes to the landfill, it's affecting my tax bracket, because we have to pay for these things as taxpayers in this country. So we took it very seriously. And the other thing they asked was, could we make a family of product, because they were tired of their facilities looking like Smartie boxes. Every time they bought something, it looks different. Nobody knows where to go to fix it, how to fix it, who do I call, and there you get the furniture graveyard.
Standardization.
Yes. So we decided to embark on the journey, and what we came up with is PrimaCare. So PrimaCare was developed so that everything of the PrimaCare series is repairable, replaceable, sustainable, manageable, on-site, no downtime. So no matter what goes wrong with this product, you can fix it right where it sits. It's been such a successful approach to product that actually Workspace and Education are also using PrimaCare in their facilities. And the range of products allows them to do that. So what we're looking at here is lounge furniture. And if you were to take this two-seater and somebody slashed the back on a two-seater sofa, you would have to either reupholster or buy new to fix it. With the PrimaCare, you would order a new back from Harkel. They would come in, they would take the old back off and put the new back on. They don't even have to take it out of the room, they can do it right where it sits. So overall, return on investment, repairs, like everything on this product can be replaced, and no downtime. So you get to use the product until it's repaired, but everything can be kept looking good. I learned a long time ago, when I was a social worker, that if one of the residents was allowed to drop their coat on the floor, then the next resident did. If we insisted that the coats be hung up, the first one in, the second one hung it up, and you'll notice if things are damaged, people don't care and they start to do more damage. If we can keep it looking perfect, then people show more care and respect for the premises themselves. So it really has had a marvelous effect, and we're very proud of this product. You see here lounge, open arm, fully upholstered. We have a wing back, which was also designed by some elder care people that we work with, because we wanted it to be a recliner that they felt they could sit in for a long period of time. And on this side, we have the PrimaCare Modular. So here we have the PrimaCare Modular. You saw the PrimaCare Lounge, the wing back. PrimaCare Modular is absolutely a fantastic product. And what I didn't mention before is the PrimaCare comes with a wood frame, wood arm cap, or it can come with a metal frame with a self-skin urethane arm cap, or any combination thereof. The other beautiful thing about this modular furniture is that PrimaCare is non-handed. So you can take this product and reconfigure it just by changing out the arms from an arm that will attach to an arm that might be finished. So if you have this kind of setting and you need to reconfigure, because the only thing that doesn't change about healthcare is that it's always changing. So this allows you to be able to change this and it fits wherever you want it to go, because it doesn't have to stay in this configuration. When you have modular products that are handed, if you don't put them back together in the same fashion, then it doesn't work. So oftentimes, even though the product's in great condition, it becomes part of that furniture graveyard because you can't put it anywhere, because you can't reconfigure it. Here we have PrimaCare, totally reconfigurable. I had a client that had 100 pieces in one waiting room. They needed it to be spread out over 3 waiting rooms. And it took me less than an hour to plan, which is unheard of. And they had to buy 2 arms. That's it. 2 arms to be able to reconfigure those 100 pieces into 3 different waiting rooms. That is a huge cost saving because of the time that I didn't have to spend reconfiguring. And also they only needed 2 arms and were able to use every other piece.
So to reiterate, to reconfigure, we order the product and do it right on set.
Yes.
So we don't take product out to modify. So if I wanted to change this beautiful high back to this back, just change the back.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
You'll also notice that on the PrimaCare, we do have the luxury of a low back and a high back in the modular seating. Many of the products out there, you only have the low backs. And when you're putting them in a back-to-back situation, people don't really like bumping into each other's heads. The other thing it affords is that we have to recognize there's long wait times in Canada. And sometimes family members are sitting and waiting for loved ones for 5, 6, 8 hours. If we are able to provide high backs, it's a lot more humane for the person who's having to wait to find the results of what's going to happen with their loved one versus everything being low back.
Safety, Deborah.
Yes.
Can you tell me about safety with tables and the purpose behind why you guys put in an ottoman out of fabric?
Sure. So we're always concerned about the seat height for people to get up and out of. When you sit in a global product, a lot of times people will go, oh, this is firm. And my answer is, yes, it is. And it needs to be, because as we age, when we're ill, our body mass, our muscle strength starts to change. And if we're in really soft foam and we go to get up, you can't get up. It also allows foam to cave sooner. When it's softer foam, it deteriorates faster. And having the right foam density, and again, we worked with the healthcare groups to determine what the best density of foam would be, because we actually make our foam and can change the density of our foam to meet the needs of our products. We also look at things like egress grips so people can grab and come up. And one of the things I see in healthcare happening a lot is tables. Tables, coffee tables, everybody likes coffee tables, especially if you're going to put magazines and things on them. But tables have been proven to fail and break and damage. If somebody sits and puts their feet on the coffee table, it'll scratch the wood or the laminate. You have edges that can be sharper, but even if they're rounded edges, when a senior bumps into them, they have very thin skin, they can bruise easily. That bruising can also break and they can bleed. But if somebody were to fall on it, a table will break. Versus an ottoman, you can fall on it, you can sit on it. And if I need to speak to someone because they're having a hard time, I can use it as a chair and I don't have to run around and find somewhere to sit. It just is a really practical solution. You can do it in textile that won't soil as much, but can be cleaned off easily, even disinfected. Various leg options, there's many different styles and shapes, but it really has been a lifesaver of a solution when you need those coffee tables, but they really don't fit the purpose, and within months, they're down in that furniture graveyard that we talk about.
And you know, the furniture graveyard other than the furniture that can't be used, is a real estate cost.
Yes, it is.
And some of these spaces, you know, the warehouse they use for them are between 5,000 and 10,000 square feet. That's a lot of money.
It is. Yeah.
But I also noticed on your tables that you're using
Correct.
Again, for safety.
Well, again, this particular table has a purpose. You'll often see this modular type seating, and they'll have a table that's squared off. So the other chair is sitting right here. Right. Now, if you sit there and I'm sitting there, we're kind of like better be best friends. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Yes. It becomes a chair that can't be used. Correct. So this is actually a purposeful design so that the chairs don't become something that are useless.
That's great. So still with the PrimaCare line.
Yes, we are. And to your point, there's a lot of value in PrimaCare, not just because of the construction, but also some of the purpose-built solutions that we have in the product. And what I want to talk about here is, here we see the wood frame with the wood arm cap. This is a self-skin urethane arm cap with a metal frame. In Canada, you're not going to find much wood between, you know, the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, just because it doesn't hold up. So a lot of products are going to a metal solution. Once you have a metal solution, things get heavier, and but they are more cleanable and do withstand the disinfectants that are being used. So what Global has done has created tip and move wheels. So the wheels do not work until you tip the chair to move it in the space so that people aren't lifting it and hurting their back. You'll also notice here we have a different back shape. So the Primacare resident patient chair does come with a low back. It comes with a high one-piece back, but it also has this back. And this is something we created in response to the many concerns we heard about staff injuries. You know, if you think back 15, 20 years ago, I could say, Howard, I have to move Martha. You want to come and give me a hand? And he would come. Now, they're lucky if they even know who their coworker is. So this type of awkward reach and posture is causing unnecessary injuries to the caregivers. So what we did was we've created this back, which is called a split back. It folds down, and when I have to access the person in the chair, you'll notice I'm not doing any of that awkward reach and posture, which is going to cause me harm through the day. So these are the types of solutions that we try to really look at and see if we can find a solution for our clients.
So back to the philosophy that we started with, making sure the staff are safe.
Correct. And this would be a bariatric hip chair. It also means if somebody's had surgery in the hip, in the knee, and they need that higher position for entering and exiting the chair, we have those solutions as well.
Now we're in the resident room vignette at the beautiful global showroom. Deborah, we've got some fantastic products again.
Yes. So in this area, there's a couple of things that we like to highlight. One is the guest chair or family visitor chair. Here we have what we call the Frolic. Frolic is a really simple chair, but it's very purposeful. You'll notice that the arms are flat. It's great for egress. It has stability. The way that we finish it is one piece back, so the upholstery comes over. And on the underside, because of IPAC practices, housekeeping, infection control, you'll see that what we do is we finish it in a way that's very unique to Global and sealing off all of the seams so that penetration of moisture, also hiding with contraband and other things that may result in negative behavior being expressed. We take precautions to ensure that those things don't happen, and that is something that we do very well, and we've done it for a number of years. So Frolic is one of those chairs that stacks and can be used anywhere. We see it in waiting rooms, we see it in patient rooms, we see it in resident rooms, we see it in offices, like wherever you need a chair and a chair that stacks, this chair is perfect. Cafeterias, lunchrooms. On this wall, we have what we call the swap. Because spaces are so restricted, sometimes you need extra seating, but even to have them pushed off to the side and stacked, there's not enough room in the space. So we have a chair that is non-ferrous. It has no metal parts. It is plastic. It is UV rated. It can go outdoors, indoors, be used in shower rooms, by pools, but you can see for storage, it's really easy to store, and you can put it in a closet, on a wall. You have space for two. The chair also lays flat, so there is a dolly that allows you to stack them high if you're using them in a cafeteria, lunchroom, or somewhere where you need high density storage, then this would be also a good solution.
Great product. How many times have you gone to visit a family member and there's maybe two people in the room, two patients in the room, there's a chair on each side, and you can really only accommodate one or two people, and it doesn't take up space.
And that family was there before you, so you don't get to sit.
You don't get to sit. Yeah. They've taken both chairs, and that's a fantastic product.
Yeah. What you also see here is our Olden series, which is a case good that is wardrobe, dresser, bedside table. We also have the headboards, footboards, and so it allows you to accommodate the products and coordinate all of the finishes when using the Global products. We have the overbed table as well, so it really does finish the room. Now, my favorite chair, or one of my favorite chairs, is the Adeline. Adeline is a great patient room chair, a great resident room chair. It is our #1 seller for those applications. One, because of price point, but really it's about comfort. So if I were to take the chair and turn it sideways, and you can see when I'm seated, I can rock if I want to. I don't have to if I don't want to, but it gives you a chair that has no pinch points. One style of chair that became very popular many years back was a glider. And the glider has a center pivot point and the whole chair moves. It caused a lot of injuries, especially in senior care. People would get their hands trapped in the mechanism, legs trapped in the mechanism. They were really unsafe. At that time, because of the safety factor, Global chose not to have a glider until we could find a safer mechanism. And in order to respond to the requirement of our clients to have a chair that had some flexibility, we created the Adeline. It's a really comfortable chair, it's well priced, and you'll find them everywhere. The fact that the seat can be replaced, the back can be replaced, the arm caps could be replaced as well, all on site, makes the value of the chair even more.
Into the next patient room, resident room, and again, some really cool stuff. I love the bedroom furniture, the Sonoma line. Used it in many applications. Again, durable, cleanable. Love the idea that we can use a hard surface, a Corian surface, as well as our standard surfaces.
Okay, so Sonoma is a perfect example of a process that we went through for developing our case good line. Sonoma was the first one we developed. We didn't want to be a me too or do what everybody else did. We wanted to make a difference. So we went out to the market and we asked them what are they using now, what they like about it, what they don't like about it, and if they had a wish list, what would it be? Basically, for the first time and only time we've ever done this research, every response included one factor, and that was damages. Within the first day, within the first week, but you can go to the bank that in the first month, this product is damaged. It's not cheap. I don't care if you buy the Alden, which is an entry-level product that we saw in the first room, or whether it's Sonoma. They aren't cheap, and typically you need 100, 150, 200, 300, 600 of them. So what are we going to do to make that investment better for you? So what we did with Sonoma is we developed a product with an aluminum extrusion as the leading edge. The laminate is friction fit into that aluminum extrusion. There's a glide on the bottom. You can see here that aluminum extrusion is also an integral to the leg. We have cam locks that hold the tops in place, which means you can replace the top if it gets damaged. The fact that the laminate is protected and friction fit, if it were to get damaged, which I'm not aware that it can, it could also be changed out. You have different configurations on the units. There's a clean out in the top position on both sides, which is especially important for the top drawer because that's where people put their teeth, their half-chewed apple, their dirty Kleenex, the wet face cloth, all goes there. You want that airflow so that you don't get the bacteria and the mold built up. You'll notice there's also a drawer liner. In comparison to other drawer liners, this really is a piece of furniture. Other products you can poke your finger through, this is solid. It also, you can see, is shaped so that it curves around and goes over the surface of the drawer. We learned from our research that people do defecate and urinate in their drawers, oftentimes when in care. So this makes it much better for the caretaker, the caregiver, to take that drawer liner out, take it to the bathroom, do what they need to do to clean it and replace it, versus trying to dig around inside the drawer to clean it. This particular unit is a little higher than what is standard in the industry, and the reason it's higher is that we had a client that was retrofitting space and they needed new over bedside tables and they wanted over bed tables, but they didn't have enough room for the over bed table in that space. So they asked us to see if we could help them with a solution. So we created this unit to be slightly higher with a tray, so the nurses can use it to write on, or a resident could sit, or a patient could sit on a chair, put their eating tray here, and have access to the whole unit. So it just became a really good solution, and other clients liked it as well. So we added it to the line. We had a long-term care facility in Winnipeg. They loved it, but they wanted it on the dresser. so that it pulls out, and now they have a desk. And when they don't need it, it goes back, and none of the space in the room is taken up by it being out there all the time. So really it is about working with our clients to come up with solutions that work for them. Even if we don't have the solution, Global is the company that says, let us see if we can do it, because if we can do it, there's others who will probably need it. And that's our approach to our solutions. The wardrobes also have the aluminum extrusion, as do the dressers, the cutouts. Even on the floor, there's a cutout because seniors oftentimes will hang things up so that things can drip and goes onto the floor, because if you can see it, you'll clean it. The other thing about the wardrobes is we use a J-bar for the hangers, which is fastened to the underside of the fixed shelf. It does not allow for people to put belts around or other paraphernalia to hang themselves, because in healthcare, there's also a huge concern for depression and self-harming. So we have ensured that they can't use the hanger area for hurting themselves. If you have a hook on the wardrobe, it will fail. If somebody were to try and hang themselves from it, it will open automatically at 75 pounds. So all of these little things we do as a manufacturer, not because we know, but it's because we work with clients who know, and we're the manufacturer. We are good at that, we can do it, but we have to work with our clients to understand what they need. Okay, so then we have the Nourish chair, the perfect patient chair according to our clients. We called it the Nourish. When we sent out the questionnaire, what are you using now? What do you like? What don't you like? And if you had a wish list. The wish list on this particular product was it had to have a high back. They loved the Adeline and wanted some flex in the back of this chair. A good transfer arm. And we have a transfer arm standard on both sides. And this is standard, not optional. We actually tested this arm for 24/7 over 8 months and couldn't get it to break, so we stopped testing it. We have as well the solution, because it is a metal product, the tip and move wheels that I mentioned earlier. So by tipping the chair, we can move it through the space and not cause harm to our client. However, the other thing that they wanted was a height adjustment in the seat. And generally, height adjustment is achieved by a center pivot and a more institutional looking chair. Now, when we first did this and took it around to our clients for evaluation during the development process, this particular piece here was a really nice little button. And we were told, are you nuts? If we can't see it, we won't use it. Make it obvious. But this will allow for a rearward seat pitch. If we were to lower the front and raise just the back, we have that forward seat pitch, which you often need for people who have difficulty getting in and out of chairs. The rearward seat pitch gives you that more angled position so that you can relax and adjust, or you can raise all of the legs up at once. The perfect position for me is the 17-inch seat height, which can be adjusted up to 20. I like it at 17. Howard probably wants it at 20. So this allows it to be used for both people. It doesn't have to be done every day, but it does allow our caregivers to position the chair in such a way that it's the perfect comfort for their patients. So now we have this chair. It is called the Coast, and the Coast is a glider. It took Global several years to find a glide mechanism that we felt warranted our support, because so many of the glider mechanisms, we've heard the horror stories of injuries to staff and to patients and residents that have used them. So when we found this, we decided to develop the Coast. And you'll notice that when I do rock, it's only the center of the chair that moves. The arms stay stable to the floor, whereas typical gliders, it's the whole chair that moves, and accidents can happen as a result of that. You'll notice that it is a really smooth glide. We have self-skin urethane arms that allow me to grab onto for egress. There is also the option to add this, which is a tablet, and the tablet can be used for me to work, for me to have a meal, but it gives the chair another purpose because sometimes seniors are put in chairs and they're left for long periods of time. So this would allow them, they're knitting, they're crocheting, their coffee, and really have a sense of comfort for the period of time that they would be sitting in this chair.
One of my favorite parts of the showroom is this area with the kids' furniture and the lounge furniture and all the natural light. And I noticed in a lot of the new places that they're doing courtyards and it's just makes it such a great environment. And it's great to see that Global is utilizing not only just institutional pieces, but looks like residential pieces to make this a great place. Not necessarily that you want to visit, but you have to visit.
Everybody likes to have a space where the kids can gather and play. So we have a variety of products from our various divisions. Education is the table, the Sedero children's chair, the river benching product that is at its lowest height, so it's appropriate to the children's area. It's just a really nice mix. And we have the bookcases on the wall, and you can see through the two that we have in this space that you can customize them and have them exactly the shape and height and finish you want.
Deborah, thanks for joining me for lunch.
You're absolutely welcome, Howard.
One of the challenges that we deal with all the time in retirement homes, long-term care, and even in hospital settings is the dining rooms.
Yes.
How do we make everybody inclusive, whether you're in a wheelchair, walker to a chair, or you're just want to sit in a chair? And I think you guys have done a great job.
Well, thank you. And you are right. It is one of the largest challenges that face, especially long-term care. Global, many years ago, was working very closely with a client. And at that time, the client had been purchasing tables with the center pivot point, and they were height adjustable. And the problem with that is that these height adjustable tables get adjusted up, and everybody's all so excited, oh, we're getting height adjustable tables, isn't that great? And everybody gets excited. And within 3 months, are you gonna adjust it? No, my back hurts. You do it. No, I got a sore back. Before you know it, the tables are left at one height. They're not actually adjusted. They have to bend down, they have to reach under, and guess what? They don't want to do it every day, they being the caregivers or the housekeeping staff, because remember, they have challenges, and they have bad backs, and they have shoulder injuries, neck injuries. All these things can prevent the products from being adjusted the way they're meant to be adjusted. If a person is in a wheelchair and has a leg extension, they're interfering with the center pivot point, so then they have to turn sideways to put their leg out, and now they're hitting the person sitting in the chair, and then you have arguments and fights break out. So we were asked if we could do something better in terms of a solution. And the other thing that was explained to me, which is to me the most critical part of the entire story, is that this kind of experience tends to be higher ratio in long-term care. And when you're going into long-term care, your daughter hasn't phoned up and said, hey, mom's going to be ready in 5 years. We want the corner apartment overlooking the pool. Have the room ready, please. Doesn't work that way. It's because we get to a point where we start to fail and we can't be cared for anymore in our home. So you are looking for a place for your mom, your dad to go, and you start visiting. And the caregiver will, the facility will plan for you to visit them before lunch or dinner, usually. And as you're working out the arrangements, somebody comes rapping at the door and says, hey, Howard, we're going to ask your mom to go with us to meet some of the people that have something to eat, meet the people she's going to be living with. Is that okay? And you convince her to go. She says no, but you get her there. And if you go back to your family home today, to have dinner, where do you sit? Same seat. Same as you did as a kid, right?
Yeah.
So when your mom goes to dinner tomorrow, where is she going? Breakfast, where's she gonna go?
Same seat.
So whether she likes Martha, Joe, or Sue or not, they're her new family. So I was asked if we could build a table that will allow that to happen. Because with the height adjustable tables, what happens is the whole table has to be raised, but not everybody's in a wheelchair. So they put the table over in the corner and they say, sorry, Molly, you gotta go sit over there where the wheelchairs can fit. And now Molly has to adjust to a new family. And we're trying to avoid that. We want the stay to be as neutral as possible once they've adjusted and calmed down to being there. So we created this. It's called a fixed tablet, and it is attached to the side of the table. Tables are pre-drilled with metal inserts. These are held in place by thumb screws. And basically it goes on the table until the person is moved or passes away. And a lot of the homes have bookcases, and they put this on the bookcase in the kitchen, and when the person needs it, it goes on, and it really stays on until they move or pass away. So it has become a really good solution. And the person in the wheelchair now has a surface area over their lap, and they can stay. And if they have a leg extension, they're not interfering with you. So this has been a really good solution. We have a table that will accept up to 4 of them, 1 on each side. And about 10 years after this was introduced, we were contacted by a hospital who had been using this solution in rehab and advised that this was not working as well anymore, so alarm. And I drove down to see them, and what we discovered is that wheelchairs have become ergonomic. So in order to accommodate the various sizes of wheelchairs, we went back to work and we have created another solution. So this is the problem with wheelchairs. They move up to the table and then everything goes on the person's lap. They can't get comfortable at the table. So we've created this, which is a height adjustable tablet. It's a handle here that gets squeezed. It can be squeezed by the patient, or it could be used by the resident or the caregiver.
Very easy.
Very easy to
It
use.
looks like a hydraulic type mechanism.
Similar to what you have in seating products, it's a gas cylinder. And to get it to go down, so you can see it could fit the various heights of wheelchairs. But what's really cool is that it also goes low. I've been to so many homes where the person is tiny in a small area, a small wheelchair, and they buy TV trays, they cut off the legs and they put them against the wall and they're left on their own, which is really sad. This enables somebody to join the table at any time, no matter what size chair or wheelchair they're in. So it does address a lot of situations. So the Enable table is what it's called, and you can have 2 of these on the 45-inch side, and you could have 2 on either side of the 36. And it gives you all the creativity you might need for having, but you know, typically in a dining room of 20 people, you may have 3 of these, but they're not all on the same table because not all the people who are in wheelchairs are friends. So this enables them to sit where they want and be accommodated. Okay, so this product is called the Desmond HT, high traffic. So one of our top selling products was the Desmond wood frame. And we have seen a drastic shift from wood frame chairs in dining rooms to everything being metal. Major reason, damages. They don't hold up to the disinfectants, they don't hold up to housekeeping practices, and joints break down, but they're really a high cost of ownership simply because abuse, motion, they're exposed to so much in the healthcare settings that any dents or ticks or knocks, even vacuums, can damage them. So we decided to knock off our Desmond chair and create a metal Desmond. as I mentioned earlier, with metal products, they do get harder to move and they are heavier for moving. So if you take a dining room chair, does it really matter if it starts off at 40 pounds or 50 pounds, because you are putting a body in it and then the staff have to move it? And how many staff have you met that have bad backs, bad shoulders, neck injuries, and it's from trying to move seating? So if I have to move, you can see I'm struggling. What we have done is we found a solution, or created a solution, that I just have to tap this ever so lightly, and you can see I can move without any struggle or harm being created for my body to move this person into a seated position at the table. And if I have to get them out, the casters at the back also enable me to turn them very easily, so that now they could be accessing their wheelchair or their walker, that nobody in this process is subject to any injury whatsoever. So these are the types of solutions that we try to find, that we incorporate, so that the caregivers are being cared for as much as the patients that they're looking at.
Thank you for joining us today on our tour of the beautiful global showroom. If you want to see more, please reach out to us at harkeloffice.com, and we'd love to have you here, visit with myself or with Deborah, the expert from Global. Thank you.
And I want to thank you as well for joining us today and sharing some of the knowledge that we have, and look forward to having you come to the space, visit us, and see what we can do for you. You will find the space inspiring, comfortable, and truly a learning experience. So I look forward to seeing you soon.